interconectado nuestros poderes lumínicos. Así que nos intercambiamos cuando los usamos.
Buena teoría.
Tú puedes absorber la luz. Yo puedo verla. Y Kamala, ¿quién es Kamala? Hola.
Hey. Oh, I love the poster that you've chosen. It's so good.
So we can do it in person. I had to set this up.
I love it.
Okay, hi. I'm Pedro from Ecartelera. It's such a pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you too. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm very happy to be talking to you. So let's dive right into the Marvels. Carol, Kamala, and Monica exchanging places every time they use their powers is such a cool concept. But I'm guessing it must have been challenging to figure out how to make it work. So how did you figure that out? How did you figure out the rules, and how did you plan and execute that three-way dynamic, especially in the action scenes?
A lot of planning, a lot of conversations, a lot of just really good organization and cross-departmental collabing. It was tricky to figure out not just the physicality and like the practicals of, you know, how do you shoot this, but also how do we make sure the audience knows what's going on? Like, what side of the switch do we show? Do we show both sides? Do we show the first side or the second side? Who do we follow? Do we stay where we are? You know, and that changes for each sort of switch that we do. But it was a journey to figure out how it all worked.
Yeah. Well, the movie has been in development for a long time, and it's been delayed multiple times. It's finally here, but since it's no secret that Marvel movies evolve constantly and Marvel Studios works on them until the very last minute, I want to know, how much has the film changed in this long process?
You know, the core of what the film is about, these three women, their power switching, sort of the journey they go on, how we take them from point A to point B, that's all the same. I think it's more about just figuring out, one, how it fits into the rest of the universe, and also the best version of that story, the best way to tell that story. So that's, you know, I mean, I certainly couldn't do it what they do at Marvel, like juggling everything and making sure things are coming out in the right order. So I think it's just a balance, and inside of that process of figuring it all out, like some things shift here and there.
Yeah. Well, this is a very cool crossover that comes from the first Captain Marvel, of course, and WandaVision and Miss Marvel. How did you unify those three characters, those three styles into one film?
I mostly thought about them as characters and how to make sure they were distinctive, like say in their fighting styles or what their powers looked like. But when it came to the styles of the things that came before, I didn't really draw from those because this was really going to feel like its own thing. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, this really felt like the first of the Marvels, as opposed to fully feeling like a sequel to like, you know, the five other things that came before it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I want to talk about surprises because, well, they're essential to the experience of seeing a Marvel movie these days, especially with the multiverse storyline going on. So they only showed us to the press 20 minutes of the film. I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest. But I want to know, how's the level of panic right now at Marvel regarding spoilers and leaks?
I honestly, you know, being inside of that system for 3 years, I don't feel panic from them ever about spoilers. I think they've gone through 15 years of it just happening. They have Tom Holland running around spoiling it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do at that point? So I think they have a very zen attitude. But I think part of why they're intense about spoilers, it isn't like, oh no, you're ruining the movie. It's more like, do you remember like going to a movie and really not knowing what you were going to see, really not knowing like who was going to show up, like really being surprised? Like that's an amazing part of the experience of seeing a movie. And so I think they really just want to preserve that for people, as opposed to being, you know, super intense about it.
Well, talking about fan, reception, sadly, this film is, as with any other big studio film with diversity and female leads and LGBTQ representation, is facing sort of like a hate campaign online. So it seems that this situation is getting worse and worse. How does Marvel and how do you as filmmakers and actors deal with this hateful discourse?
For myself, I can speak for myself. I don't engage with it. And I just keep making movies and keep going to places who are committed to making movies and expanding who's telling stories and the stories we're telling. I think that's all you can do is just keep going. because as long as you exist, they can't tell you that you shouldn't.
I agree totally. So I think my time's up. Thank you so much for your time. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, Nia.
Of course, have a good one.
Hola, ¿somos un equipo? Más alto. Más lejos. Más rápido.